It's the way to go. Eat a fig, not a pig. Let your kindness show. If it's your wig or a jig or a swig, do you dig? Big. It's the way to go. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chant that won't be flat. It's fat. And here's our show. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
I just got that vegan glow, like a drag queen, Colleen Patrick Goudreau. I'm a YouTube vegan, cooking up good eating. Veganism makes me glow. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
All right, vegans, all together now. When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chant that won't be flat. It's fat.
It's the way to go.
It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio. We're podcasting from San Francisco
and New York City
to discuss veganism and all of its glory. I'm here with Ben Strothman, otherwise known as Honey LeBronx, everyone's favorite vegan drag queen.
And I'm here with Laura Yaz, vegan writer and entertainment know-it-all.
You can check us out on Twitter and Facebook by searching for Big Fat Vegan Radio.
And you can follow along with our show notes at bigfatveganradio.com.
Happy Thanksgiving, Ben.
Happy Thanksgiving, Laura. I almost said Happy Turkey Day.
Oh, habit.
It's so ingrained.
I know how it is.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have 3 lovely interviews lined up to talk about those sort of ingrained holiday traditions and some of their roots and how we handle those same things as vegans nowadays.
Yeah, we thought it would be fun to do a special Thanksgiving episode. It's definitely a loaded holiday, I think, for vegans, because there's just so few of us that have vegan families as well, and it just gets really complicated sometimes, because it tends to be a family affair for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was thinking about this. We recorded interviews for this episode with 3 separate people, and during all of these interviews, I kept thinking in the back of my head, every day is Thanksgiving for a vegan.
Yeah.
Like every time 2 vegans sit down together for a meal, like it's pretty Thanksgiving-y.
It's true. We like to eat.
Yeah.
Especially you and me. Maybe you just mean you and me.
Oh my God. I just go back to that day at Champs where we just...
Oh my God.
Oh, we just overdid it and I didn't apologize.
Or every time we ever went to Terry together.
Every time we ever went to Terry. Oh my God.
Well, my dad is coming to town next week and we're going to go up to Millennium. So I'm going to go there for the first time. I'm really excited about it. So I'll talk about that on the next episode. That'll be my big fat vegan food.
That's where Colleen said she was possibly going, wasn't it?
Oh, well, it's like the Candle 79 of San Francisco.
Oh, so are there several millenniums?
No.
Oh, okay. Because Candle's got 3 branches now. So
I don't mean Candle Cafe, Candle 79.
Oh, I gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
It's
like the upscale.
The upscale. It's the Fa vegan restaurant.
It is Fa.
I wonder what Fa is French for.
I don't know.
I wonder how you say Fa in French.
I studied French for a long time. I never said Fa.
Well, it probably loses its meaning in the translation.
Yeah, I don't think it's a word, actually.
I don't think you're a word, actually.
You don't think your mom's a word, actually?
Your mom is 2 words.
All right. Don't break it down.
Okay.
Come on.
I can't rap, so I won't. How impressed would you be if I just started freestyle rapping right there? I'm going to break it down. Wicka, wicka, wicka.
I can't beatbox. That was terrible.
It wasn't too bad.
Oh, thanks.
You know what? For all you know how I like to edit things? I might just edit back some of our little stuff there and make a little rap out of everything you say. Maybe I will make a Ben and Laura rap out of everything that you're saying at the end of this episode.
That sounds like it's going to be a lot of work for you.
It would be. It would be so worth it, though. If I can do that, that's a skill.
I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Well, all right. The heat is on now.
You don't have to do it.
I know. I don't do things unless I want to do.
Or is there a program? Could you use Auto-Tune to make that easier?
Probably, but I'll probably just do it in GarageBand.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're really excited. We're interviewing a bunch of different people today about what Thanksgiving means to them and what they're doing with Thanksgiving as a vegan. And first up, we have Lori Woolard, who is newly vegan, and we're excited about just talking to her about what her first vegan Thanksgiving experience is going to be like.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, it's our pleasure. So, we just wanted to, we understand that you just went vegan. This is going to be your first vegan Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's true.
So that's so exciting. So when did you go vegan? Can you just tell us a little bit about the inspiration for you?
Yes, I was vegetarian a few years ago, and then I wasn't, and I don't really remember why I stopped. And I tried to go back to it, and I also ate a lot of processed food and everything. And whenever I would try to go back to being really healthy, I wouldn't feel very well. And a friend of mine recently she was going to do a cleanse, and I was explaining that I would like to do that too. And I told her what would happen when I would try to go vegetarian or vegan. And she thought maybe I was detoxing, and I didn't know it. And that's why I wasn't feeling well, and I felt like I had to have the meat protein, but I didn't want it.
Yeah.
And so with her help and the nutritionist help, I went on the cleanse, and it was dairy-free and meat-free and sugar-free, and I felt really good, and I was fine. And they gave me a lot of alternatives for protein and different exciting combinations, and it was really good, and I was so excited. And that started October 3rd, and so I used it more as, instead of a detox, more as a launch pad to be what I want to be, which is vegan. And I'm really happy that it worked out. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Lori, yeah, congratulations. The way you make that sound, detoxing, it kind of sounds like, for me when I was quitting smoking, just detoxing from nicotine, that when you stop putting it in your system, the body starts kind of fighting you and trying to like compel you to have more and more of it. It was funny
when you quit smoking. Yeah,
Yeah, Laura and I are both former smokers here, so we can really relate to sort of detoxing from something like, meat or dairy. I always compare casein to nicotine. But for me, I think fasting was also sort of my launching pad into going vegan. I did the master cleanse, and when I came off of it, it just felt like the right time for me to go vegan. And can you just tell us a bit about, having never had a vegan Thanksgiving before, what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Well, I watched the video from Colleen, and she really made a really good point that it's about the celebration of the harvest. It's not about the celebration of a slaughter.
Yeah.
And that rung true for me. So it was perfect. It's exactly how I feel. So I've never had a vegan Thanksgiving, and I've always had turkey around me at Thanksgiving, and I've never felt really good about it. And I don't have any plans for this Thanksgiving, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but I'm really excited about not having turkey and not being around turkey. And I also found a site about adopting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and I want to do that this year. So I thought that was great.
Oh, yeah, that's a great thing to do. What have you done previously on Thanksgiving? What's been your traditions in the past? Is it a family thing, or?
It used to be family. I'm from the Midwest, and my parents passed away a long time ago. But back when I was still living there, it was about family. But now it's more about being with friends. So sometimes friends and I go out to dinner for Thanksgiving, or sometimes I go to a friend's house or a friend's relative's house for Thanksgiving. I always get invited somewhere, but it's always just the usual quote unquote traditional things with the turkey and everything. And I'm not really sure about this year. I have been invited to go out to dinner but they are not vegans, and I don't really know where we're going to go or if I decide to join them, and I don't know what my choices will be when I go there on what vegan dishes I can do. So I may just end up finding an alternate route that day. Do something different.
Well, it sounds so wonderful that to begin with, you've already, you watched the video by Colleen and you've already set a clear intention that this year Thanksgiving for you is going to be about compassion and embracing new compassionate traditions. And I love that you mentioned, that you have, for me, I won't lie. I mean, I've been vegan about tomorrow, not our listeners, but by this time it will already have came and went, but tomorrow is going to be November 12th, and that will actually be my 3-year vegan anniversary. And yet for me, thank you. I cannot believe it's come and gone so quickly. But I can't lie, for me that there is still a very big traditional draw to a lot of the non-vegan old traditions just because it's what we're used to. People still say Happy Turkey Day. I even met a guy recently whose name is Turk, and I'm like, where do you get your name from? Oh, I was born on Thanksgiving. This person's name commemorates a turkey being slaughtered for our day. But I love that you plan to still incorporate a turkey in a proactive, compassionate way by considering sponsoring a turkey. I think that is so wonderful.
Yes. I thought I came across that, and I thought that's perfect. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I love that too. It's also a great thing you can share on Facebook, and you can adopt turkeys for other people and send it to them. I love doing that to remind people that, turkeys are more a centerpiece.
Yeah. You know what, Lori, I have to say I don't really know where I would go if I was going to sponsor or adopt a turkey. Do you have any information on that you can share with our viewers? Our viewers, listen to me again. I'm always calling them viewers. Our listeners.
Oh, let's see. I came across it on Facebook, and I don't recall which site it was. It might have been the PIA.
Well, you can definitely do it. You can definitely do it through Farm Sanctuary. You can do it on their website. They have a whole special Thanksgiving page, and they usually feature a bunch of turkeys. But I'm sure you can do it through other sanctuaries as well. I think Farm Sanctuaries is probably the best advertised, but I know that a lot of different animal sanctuaries do different special, fun, turkey-related things for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yes, Farm Sanctuary. I think that is the site where I found that. So
there's a really great. They send you the cute. They send you a really cute little certificate with a picture of your turkey, and it's awesome. It's really nice.
Perfect.
That's awesome. Well, we can go and put that in the show notes as well for our listeners or for our viewers, if anything, just in case someone's watching us. You never know. Someone might be at Terry right now listening to this on their headphones and just watching me eat a bacon chicken cheddar ranch. They could be. That could be happening. I mean, anything's possible, Nothing's certain, not for any of us. But can I just go ahead and, I love those sort of talk shows where they always have the surprise guest or they have a little special thing that they do for their interview guest.
Yeah, Lori, we have a surprise for you.
Yeah, Lori, we have a surprise for you, and
I can terrify you. It's a happy surprise.
Yeah, it's a good surprise. It's not a bad surprise. This isn't like one of those, look underneath your seat, you're getting a car, everyone's getting a car kind of thing. But one of our friends on Facebook, Beth Marshall, she is also in San Francisco, and she is organizing a big get-together for Thanksgiving for a bunch of vegans, and you, my friend, are invited.
Oh, that's wonderful. I would love to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, she's been a vegan for 13 years, I think, and I told her that you're very newly vegan and that this is going to be your first vegan Thanksgiving, and I didn't want to, jump in on any plans you might already have. But I said, hey, if I had a friend in the area who's newly vegan and doesn't already have plans, would she be able to join you? And she said the more the merrier. So we're going to go ahead and put you in touch with Beth. Yeah, absolutely. We'll go ahead and put you in touch with her. And You just have to promise us that you will take pictures for us of whatever your vegan Thanksgiving turns out to be and post them on our Facebook page on Big Fat Vegan Radio on Facebook.
Yes, I will, definitely, I promise.
Well, thank you, Lori. Thank you so much for letting us chat with you about Thanksgiving, and I'm really excited for you to have your first vegan Thanksgiving. And I'm excited for us to have ours too. I love Thanksgiving, so it's great. I'm really excited.
Yeah, thanks again, Lori.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Look at us. We're such sweet matchmakers.
I know, isn't that? I hope that they really hit it off, and you never know. I mean, this could be the beginning of a lifelong vegan friendship.
That was so nice of you, Ben, to find that. It was just so great. I mean, seriously, to have a vegan Thanksgiving she can go to if she wants to. That's fabulous. It's really,
well, I mean, for me, I remember when I first went vegan, Michael Heron took me to some friend's house, and that was so meaningful to me. It was just such an important. Like, when you're vegan for a while, fine. But when you're vegan for like 2 weeks and now it's Thanksgiving, and that can be some scary stuff, Yeah,
it's really challenging.
So, Lori, don't forget, we want lots of pictures and we want those posted on our Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
So, Laura, I'm going to go ahead and turn the spotlight on you. I would like to ask you. Oh, you know what? Your hair looks just fine.
Oh, thanks.
Actually, it doesn't, but no one can see that right now.
You can see it.
I can see it because we're actually recording this on Skype, and I'm looking at you. So, Laura, why don't you tell us? You've been vegan for how long now?
About a year and a half, a little more than that.
A year and a half or so, and tell us.
So this will be my second vegan Thanksgiving.
This would be your second vegan Thanksgiving. I was with you then for your first.
But I was a vegetarian long time, so I've had a lot of vegetarian Thanksgivings.
Were you vegetarian when I met you?
No.
Okay, so you were vegetarian for prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those. I mean, I always say this. I always really relate to Jonathan Safran Foer's discussion of how he flip-flopped so much between being vegetarian and not. I did that too, totally. It was every other week I was a vegetarian. And then, I was a vegetarian for several years, college and after college. And then I just threw up my hands and just started eating everything after that. I went sort of nuts. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You threw up actual hands?
It was a dark time. It was a very dark time when that happened.
Yeah. So what would you say as someone who has gone back and forth and is now solidly vegan? What does Thanksgiving mean to you?
It's interesting. I've developed a relationship with gratitude as I've gotten older, which I definitely didn't have when I was younger. So I don't think I appreciated the holiday the way that I do now, which I think it's really wonderful to celebrate what you're grateful for. I think that's really a beautiful thing. And it's wonderful to get together with people that you love and celebrate, to remind yourself that we have so much to be grateful for. I think that's beautiful. So I really like that. And, I love to cook. So I love cooking on Thanksgiving and I love cooking for Thanksgiving. Wherever I go, I bring 5 dishes, even if you're only supposed to bring one. I love to make 12 things. And, so I just, my big dream, I'm like a poor single lady. I'm always living alone in some tiny apartment somewhere. And I've never been able to host a big Thanksgiving, but that's my big dream someday, is to be someone who hosts big Thanksgivings and cooks everything. And that's really what I want to do someday, but
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. My time will come.
So, what would you say some of your traditions have been over the years? And are there any traditions that have survived your transitions from omnivore to carnivore to vegan, vegetarian, and back?
Yeah, well, I have a small family, only child, and it's just me and my parents really, and we don't. We're not I don't have a big extended family or anything. And most of my family lives here in the Bay Area, which is where I live now. And my parents don't. So usually Thanksgiving was just the 3 of us. We didn't even usually have turkey. Honestly, my dad would usually make a duck because it's much smaller. And it was better for 3 people than making a huge turkey. It's just the dishes are our tradition. They make the same dishes every year, which I think a lot of people can relate to. My family cooks the same dishes every year. We have the same, my mom makes these yams the same way every year. You know what I'm talking about, with the same pies, and we only have them on Thanksgiving. So for us, that's really what the tradition was. And then, I moved far away. I moved to New York, and I stopped coming home for holidays, and and then my tradition just became doing like whatever in New York I could do. So I don't really have any traditions. I would go to a friend's house, or I would be working, or I would be, whatever. I never really developed any real tradition. And I'm like constantly evolving. It is, I would love to, host a Thanksgiving. That's my big goal someday, is to host a big Thanksgiving. But, I'm just, until then, I'm a free agent.
I'm trying to think, maybe you could just rent a space or something like that. And
well, I was really hoping this year, I wanted to do it at my parents' house. I wanted to cook everything for them and cook the whole Thanksgiving. It's really the cooking that I want to do. I don't even need that many people to come over. I just want to make the whole meal myself. But I had to, my mom, she didn't like the idea. So, it's hard.
They weren't open to it? They weren't open to it?
Well, no, my mom said she didn't think she could give up her dishes, her favorite stuff. She didn't want to have everything different on Thanksgiving. And, I don't know. I think they could probably do without like the turkey or whatever, but she just couldn't, she can't go for the all vegan Thanksgiving. She couldn't do it. She couldn't, she just didn't like the idea of everything being different. And we had a long talk about it, and it was hard. Yeah. I knew it was going to be a complicated thing for us. And the holidays have always been complicated because, I was such a ungrateful little brat in my 20s. I never came home for any holidays. Yeah. And so, I've only recently started coming home for Christmas, which is really important to my mom. And so because I'm going to have to travel to visit them for whichever holiday, basically what we decided was that it would be better if I traveled up for Christmas, because my mom loves Christmas. She would love to have me there for Christmas. And then we wouldn't have to deal with the Thanksgiving, tension of the meal stuff. So, and, my mom was like, and then you can just cook us food for Christmas. I don't care. You can cook whatever you want, because, that's just not the same attachment to the food as it is for Thanksgiving. So, so that trip's booked, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm just going to have Thanksgiving down here in the Bay Area instead.
Yeah. It's funny how, if any of these things that you would have cooked and served at a vegan Thanksgiving, I'm sure if you said to your mom for any one of these dishes, hey mom, try this. Hey mom, try this. She would have probably tried it and loved it, for all I know. But when you ask someone outright, do you want to have a 100% vegan Thanksgiving with no turkey and plant-based everything? It's just, it's too much.
Well, it's a lot to ask, and I wish that I could. I wish so much that it could be at my home, and my parents could be coming to my home. That's very different. I think if they felt like they were coming to me and having the vegan Thanksgiving at my place, I feel like it would be different, and they would be okay with it. But for me to go to their home and make the vegan Thanksgiving, that's not really, it's their house, and if they want to have their Thanksgiving the way they want to have it, it's too bad. I know that, it was really, we talked about it a lot. It was really hard. And I feel bad because, it's just that basically what I told her is I said, the bottom line is I don't want to go to a Thanksgiving where I have to spend the whole time explaining to everyone why I don't eat A, B, and C. And I have to be a bummer, and then I can't eat everything. And, especially just not with my mom and my dad, because we're like a really tiny little family, and we're all really close. And I just didn't want to be a bummer in their Thanksgiving, and I don't want it to be a bummer to me. So, ironically, I'm not going to a vegan Thanksgiving down here either, but I saved the trip for Christmas.
Thanksgiving, tearing families apart since 2010.
Yeah. Well, I feel good about the Christmas decision instead. That'll be great. It'll be fun for us, and it's my mom's favorite holiday, so it'll be good.
So did you say that, do you have concrete plans for this year then?
I do, yeah. My grandmother lives about 15 minutes away from me here. She's 90, and she invited me to go to Thanksgiving with my cousin and his wife and their kids, and they're all going to my cousin's wife's family, and they invited my grandma and they invited me, and so I'm going to drive up my grandma and bring, like 5 dishes like I do.
Brilliant.
And yeah, I mean, I just figured, that was really nice of them to invite me, and it's going to help my grandma if I can drive her up. And, I don't have it, one of the reasons I moved out here was to spend more time with my family. So, there it is. Yeah. And I figured, do I really want to say no to my 90-year-old grandma because I don't want to make a scene at Thanksgiving? How about I just go and not make a scene? So... Yeah, I mean, it's too bad. There is going to be a big turkey on that table, and a lot of kids eating it, which is harder for me than adults eating it, honestly. But
you know what you could bring? You could bring a little mini fence or like a little like biohazard warning sign, and just put a little fence or like a little like Chinese paper shade around the turkey.
Yeah. Caution tape, a little caution tape.
You know what? Can I offer one piece of unsolicited advice?
Sure.
Whatever you're planning on cooking, however much you're planning on cooking, double that amount, because
I know
the vegan dishes are the first to go.
I know
when you put them in front of non-vegans.
Also, I'm gonna make I've blogged about it for Vegan Mofo, but I'm gonna make a wholesome chow cake because I bought a bunch of their mixes, and that cake is so good. Everybody's gonna eat my cake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just gonna make
more of it.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna make. I've Lorified the kale salad, our hen house Honey LeBronc's kale salad.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I have a Laura version, so I'm gonna take that.
Lorified.
I'm gonna do a huge thing of that and take that, and then I'm just gonna take like a roasted vegetable casserole with potatoes and stuff, because I figured that's plenty for me, and I'll take like dinner rolls or something, and then I'm gonna take my cake, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Whatever. I'm showing up, and I don't. It's. I don't know. It's a bummer. I'd like to go to a vegan Thanksgiving, but I'm just. Yeah. I feel like I need to help out my grandma.
You're also new to the area,
I am.
It's kind of, new for you to be able to be this close to your family again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, make this one about your family, and then, next year you'll have more time to plan something.
I'm definitely trying to make it about my 90-year-old grandma.
Yeah.
Who also called me. She is so cute about my veganism. It's so weird because everyone is worried about telling their grandma. My grandma is into it. She always brings me vegan stuff whenever we get together. She always has like special food for me. And it's so funny. And she always she's like, "This is vegan, Laura." And
vegan?
Yeah. And she called me yesterday and told me she saw some vegan Thanksgiving thing at Trader Joe's, and she encouraged me to go check it out.
I just imagine Star Trek stuff. Like if someone's like vegan, I just picture Spock. I don't know why that is.
I know. But everyone, don't be afraid. My grandmother is 90, and she's a conservative lady, and she is, she loves that I'm being healthy. She gets it. She's being supportive. So don't be afraid to tell your grandma.
Yeah. Kids and grandmas, they just get the things that we in-betweeners just can't. This is kind of related, but I just went to Aaron Red was my date to this big Mercy for Animals evening with Russell Simmons.
Oh, I know. I'm so jealous. That looked so fun.
Oh my God. It was so much fun. Poor Aaron Red. She was such a good sport. I called her on like a few hours notice. I'm like, how quickly can you get yourself ready for a formal event and find a way to get into Manhattan after Hurricane Sandy, even though all the trains are out? And girl, she did it. She made it work. She showed up. She was looking like a dream.
If anyone could, it's her.
Yeah, I just imagined that she had to swing on 2 vines to get to me. And, I told her, I'm like, okay, I'll meet you out in front of the hotel before we even go in, because my roommate wasn't home and I was wearing a ball gown with an updo, and I'm like, I need you right there as soon as I get out of the taxi to zip up the back of my dress which was basically falling down, and I was just spilling out fake boobs and man hair.
Were you wearing a chest plate for that dress, or are you just taping?
Not a chest plate. I was not a chest plate nor taping. I was just wearing fake boobs in there.
Oh, like in the dress.
Yeah, inside the dress I had some fake boob stuff.
They looked great. Your boobs
Thank you.
Great.
Well, I've been doing push-ups too, so my natural cleavage is
that helps, yeah.
But anyway, Erin Red, she was telling me about her grandma, who still tries to she'll tell the story better than I can, but she says her grandma will be like, oh, I made you some soup, and she'll watch her grandma. She's like, Grandma, I saw you make a chicken soup. But then her grandma will go and she'll scoop out all the pieces of chicken and she'll offer it to her. And I can't recreate the look on Erin's face that she was redoing her grandma's face, but her grandma's like, huh? Yeah? You like that?
She's trying.
And she's like, Grandma, no, no, thank you, but no. It was just so cute. Well, I think it's time to get to our next guest.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is a friend of mine, Jim
and
Allen,
mine.
And Laura's. He's a friend of
Love
ours. Jim Allen is the organizer of Veg Out NYC, which is sort of an LGBT-focused meetup group for vegans and the veg curious in the New York City area.
At meetup.com.
At meetup.com. And and Jim will tell us more about that. So without further ado, and you know how much we like ado, here is our interview with Jim Allen.
So, Jim Allen, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Thanks for having me here, Ben and Laura.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm so excited to have you on our show.
Yay. You know, our listeners probably remember that as Honey LeBronx, I'm always referring to myself as the vegan Harriet Tubman. But honestly, as I told Jim the other day, I've got to really hand that title to Jim, because Jim really, as the organizer of Veg Out NYC, Jim literally is always leading a bunch of vegans in the area to outings and dinners and just fun, fancy little gatherings. So, Jim, I hereby dub you the vegan Harriet Tubman, and I'm sad to relinquish that title.
Well, you know, we can certainly share the title. You know, it's
okay.
Oh.
You know what? I'll take the title. I'll take the title on weekends, and you can have it during the week. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good.
So,
abolitionists at heart.
Oh, heck yeah. Jim, could you maybe start off by just telling our listeners a little bit about Veg Out NYC and your involvement with them?
Yeah, sure. Basically, Veg Out is a social group for lesbians, bisexuals, gay men, and transgendered people and their friends. So we are probably, I would say, about 25% of people who identify as straight that are just looking for vegan and veg company. So, you know, basically it's about getting together and having a supportive environment of like-minded people. You know, there's certain givens that just can come into any room that we're meeting in. So if we have a potluck, for instance, you know you're going to be able to eat just about anything, unless perhaps you're gluten-free or something. So that's basically what we're about. And my own sort of personal agenda with the group is to get people to see the bigger connections and commonalities that straddle being queer, if you will, to use that as an all-purpose term, and being vegan and being pro-animal rights, and seeing the commonality of oppressions that are out there, and basically how it is all sort of one big social justice soup that we're involved in. So it's, you know, it's, I definitely promote the social consciousness aspects of the group, and I try to get people to think about things a little bit more critically. So, you know, I don't think it's enough to have a, you know, a vegan boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever you're involved with, I also think it's important to bring an element of service, and how you as an individual can work to change the world, much in the way that, you and Laura are doing with Big Fat Vegan Radio, and certainly, Laura, what you do with your activities, and Ben as Honey, where we all bring something to the vegan table.
I think that's awesome. My first involvement with Veg Out NYC was I attended a vegan potluck at the LGBT Center. And as I recall, there was a lot of people there who were newly veg or just veg curious, and it was a really wonderful opportunity for everyone to sort of come together over food and, to share fellowship. Jim, what would you say? We're asking everyone today to tell us what Thanksgiving means to them. Jim?
What does Thanksgiving mean to me? It means, today in 2012, as someone who strongly identifies as vegan, it's basically about personal gratitude and the abundance of good fortune that I have in my life, and really, really good food and dear friends. That's what it means to me. The Thanksgiving that I grew up with, I don't relate to very much in terms of the superficial trappings of what that Thanksgiving is, what we all know to be the traditional holiday meal. So, I'd like to take those elements of why we all would gather around the table and bring it to today, with a vegan spin. So it isn't about sitting around a corpse, for lack of a better word. That's kind of a strong word, I know. But it's about the celebration of our own lives, and also being so thankful that, no one had to give up their life or have their life taken away in order to promote my personal celebration of a holiday. I didn't have to delegate the taking of a life to anybody, nor did I have to go out and shoot a turkey myself, as it were. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful to have that shift change within my own life.
Yeah.
I'm a fairly new vegan, in terms of the percentage of years that I've been crawling around on this planet. It wasn't that long ago that I actually had roasted a turkey in my oven, as hard as it is to say today, but that's definitely part of my past, and I can understand how that comes to be, and I can understand not being fully in sync with that true activity of the day. It takes time to get thoughtful, to get still, and allow yourself to figure things out and turn these holidays up on their head, and sort of rework all of this.
Yeah, so what's the difference between your traditions in the past and the traditions you've had now? Tell sort of what do you do normally, or is it a family gathering for you, or?
Well, historically, it would be very much a family gathering. Certainly the big turkey on the table and the traditional sides and desserts that we have all known to come and love. Today, I find Thanksgiving as a holiday, it's still very much my favorite holiday, bar none. Mm-hmm. But there's a continuous evolution to it. As we're on our vegan continuum or path, if you will, as we keep sort of evolving through this process, things change. So I'll give you 3 examples. 2 years ago, my family decided let's all get together for Thanksgiving. Jim's vegan. My mother made the decision, I'll find a restaurant where we can all find something to eat. So she chose this very nice hotel restaurant up in Saratoga Springs. And, she had made the necessary phone calls that, yes, there would be food there for vegan and whatnot. And it turned out that basically my choices were penne pasta with marinara sauce and a salad, from a giant salad bowl with just sort of the shaved carrot and a little bit of red cabbage on it, that the catering hall kind of salad. And everywhere around there, there were several turkeys there, dead turkeys, and then a whole U-shape of these different animals being served up, by people in toques. There was a lamb, a huge piece of beef. It was just surreal. So I made the decision then and there that for now, I cannot put myself in that kind of environment. So then, example 2, last year had a veg out Thanksgiving where we had 17 people in, and it was marvelous. Everyone bought something completely different, of course, all vegan. It was a great just sharing of food and stories and what the holiday, meant to us. And this year, I'm, doing a modification of that delightful experience. But I do wonder what will next year hold, because I could be as I am today in terms of this needs to be a completely vegan experience for my own sanity. Or I may be of such mind where I can go to that traditional American Thanksgiving, but be that, healthy, joyful, compassionate vegan at the table. Bring 3 sides, bring a dessert, let everyone know that it's, cholesterol free and, super healthy. Well, maybe not, because there's a lot of fat in those great sides. But, but basically no fallout for animals, no fallout for us, and not have a presence from any kind of a judgmental standpoint, but just doing that, food as outreach. So, as a vegan today for this Thanksgiving, I can in no way predict what future Thanksgivings hold.
Well, Jim, that actually sets me up perfectly for our next question for you.
Yeah.
So this year, for this Thanksgiving, what are you planning?
Oh, my goodness. I am going straight to my go-to gal, Allyson Kramer of ManifestVegan.com. I had the good fortune of recipe testing for both her cookbooks. And in this current issue of Veg News magazine, she's put forth a gluten-free Thanksgiving. So her recipes are all knockout winners. You don't think that, I'm eating, such healthy, sterile. It's rich, gorgeous, slightly gluttonous, makes you feel really good and happy that you're eating this way. So there's a wonderful pumpkin parsnip lasagna, a fantastic spinach salad with tempeh bacon, some really awesome looking Brussels sprouts. So those are the things that I'll be bringing to the table. And, I'm very much looking forward to finding out what my dining companions bring too. But
Beautiful.
I think she's brilliant.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
You're making me drool.
And Jim, just curious, how long have you been vegan?
I have been vegan 4.5 years.
Oh wow! Okay, we're pretty close on that. I've been vegan about as of tomorrow it'll be 3.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, and likewise.
Yeah,
and thank you for all you do, especially as a fellow New Yorker. Thank you for all that you do to provide opportunities for people to experience a vegan Thanksgiving. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. And it's given me such amazing joy in my life. It's if I could say, it's one of the few reasons why I get out of bed every morning. Because it's great to be vegan, and it's great to do what I can. To have some traction. In this world with all the problems that just seem so intractable. And being vegan is something that is such direct action. So, like as you know, as Colleen Patrick Goudreau says, just do something, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it with some 110% idea of perfection, but, do what you can, and it will make a difference.
That's beautiful. Jim, where can our listeners actually find Veg Out NYC if they're in the New York area and they want to join you?
They can easily find us through meetup.com/vegout-NYC. We're also vegoutnyc.org. Simply putting, Veg Out NYC into Google, you'll get us.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for being on the show, Jim. It's so glad to have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, really, really awesome to be here. If I could just say one thing in closing, from the LGBT vegan perspective, it can be a real button pushing holiday for people. For so many reasons, for, gay people going to a family function, or being vegan going to a family function, or both. And my words of advice to people would simply be, do not apologize in any way, shape, or form for how you live your life. And it is perfectly fine and normal to be that gay person at the table, or to be that vegan person at the table. It's something to feel really good about and proud about, and nothing that you have to, your veganism does not have to go into the closet for any particular holiday to simply make others feel comfortable. You have to make yourself comfortable first.
You heard it here first, folks.
Jim, thanks so much. I'm so excited for you to have a lovely Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming in to talk to us about Thanksgiving.
I'm so honored to be on Big Fat Vegan Radio. Yay!
Yay, indeed. Indeed.
All right, you guys.
Thanks, Jim. We'll catch up with you soon.
Very good. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, and that's our reaction to Jim Allen. It makes us gag. Poop too.
Well, it's so great. I'm so excited we got to have Jim on the show, and I haven't talked to him in so long. It was so nice to hear his voice.
Yeah, it was kind of a nice reunion.
Yeah, he's great. I love, and he's inspiring. What he does is inspiring.
Yeah, and it's got to be such hard work too. Being the organizer and responsible for the plans of so many people.
Oh, it's a huge commitment. Absolutely.
Yeah, but he takes it on so willingly.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ben, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about what Thanksgiving means to you?
Wow, we've been asking so many people this question today, and I honestly, it's hard for me to answer. I just feel like I don't have a set, pageant answer for that, and everyone else has spoken so eloquently about it.
Did I have a good pageant answer?
You did have a good pageant answer. You started by saying that some U.S. Americans don't have maps, and that
and then I mentioned my concern for world peace.
Yeah, exactly. And total non sequitur. Did you see the YouTube video for the little girl crying about Barack Obama and Mitt Romney?
No.
She's this YouTube it. You'll find it's like some 6-year-old girl bawling because she's like,
I'm tired of Barack Obama and Mitt Romney.
That's why you're crying? Oh, it'll be over soon, Abby. Okay? The election will be over soon, okay?
Okay.
Oh.
It's the cutest thing you've ever seen.
That kid is right.
She is right.
God.
Bronco Obama.
Who did you vote for, by the way? Do you
What's that?
mind telling me?
Hmm?
Did you vote for Roseanne?
She wasn't on the ballot.
She was on my ballot.
Was she?
Yeah, absolutely.
Voter fraud. I'm claiming voter fraud. I'm up in arms. I don't know if you can see my arms. They're up.
I can see.
They're waving around.
Did you vote?
I did vote. And I don't know if it's vegan to say who I voted for, but as Roseanne was not on the ballot, I did vote for Barack Obama.
You voted for our president? That's nice.
I did vote.
I
for
voted
our
for Jill
president.
Stein.
What's that?
I voted for Jill Stein. The
I
Green
thought
Party
you said,
candidate.
I believe he just died. I'm like, no, I would have heard about this.
No.
Actually, if Obama died, I probably would hear about it 2 days later. I'm not very plugged in.
You're not.
I wish I could say, I kind of want to say I would like to have voted for Jill Stein.
Yeah, she's terrific.
I have no idea who she is or why I should have voted for her because I'm not terribly plugged in.
Right. Yeah. Well, I just, whatever. I had my reasons, but
yeah,
she's terrific. Very environmentally driven.
Yeah. I'm sure I should look into her more because, I'm just, anyone who, we all saw, I'm sure, that video clip where the college student says to Obama, hey, blah, 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 we all know a vegan diet can reduce global warming and blah, blah, blah. And his answer was like, well, I do like a steak now and then. And I was like, come on, stop being douchey. But no, so Thanksgiving and what Thanksgiving
and what
means,
it means to Honey LeBronx.
What it means to Honey LeBronx. Well, I have to say, I did like your answer that for you, Thanksgiving is about gratitude. And I have to say, for me, I feel the same. I mean, look, let's just look at what the word says. It's about giving thanks. And what do I give thanks for? And not to be sappy here, but, this is awfully disrespectful to anyone I have lost in my life and suddenly can't remember. Oh, right, I have suffered tremendous losses, but I don't feel like I've really ever suffered any major losses or like lost a very close family member. My parents are both alive. All my siblings are both alive. Sure, I've lost a couple grandparents here and there and some family members over the 33 years I've been on Earth. But like my immediate family is still alive and kicking, honey. We are kicking and going strong. And I know so many people who talk about, even Lori was saying having lost both her parents. And I'm so aware of the fact that a lot of people do not have a mom or a dad. I do. I could pick up the phone right now and my mom, though she's 1,000 miles away, my mom is one phone call away. There are some people out there who there is no phone line you can build that will put them on the phone with their mom or dad. And for me, Thanksgiving is about my family. Even if I can't be with them, my thoughts are with them so much on Thanksgiving. To my family, because my family is like a big food business family, Thanksgiving is bigger to us and more meaningful to us than Christmas. When I first moved to New York and I had to choose which holiday to come home for, I would always choose Thanksgiving, hands down. I don't know if you can see me right now, but my hands are physically as low as they can possibly get. They're down. It's just, I don't know. For Christmas, we're all kind of scattered. We're opening presents. Our focus is kind of divided. For Thanksgiving, we are all sitting in an oval shape around the living room table, the dining room table, and we're together, and we're breaking bread together. So for me, if I had to answer it in just a word, I would say Thanksgiving is about family. And as I might not be able to always be with my family nowadays, it's about the family that we create around us from our friends and the family of those we choose to be our family.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Well, so what kind of traditions does your family celebrate? And I mean, have you kept any of those on your own celebrating out in New York?
The only tradition I can think of that at least I hold to this day is my undying conviction that the cook should never have to wash a dish. Whoever does the cooking, do them the courtesy of doing all the cleanup for them as your way of saying thank you. So that's really the only tradition that I keep to. But some old Strothman family traditions, I don't know why, but this is always shown around Thanksgiving, but every Thanksgiving, the Strothman family watches. I'm totally embellishing. We don't always do this, but we often watch the John Hughes movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, starring Steve Martin and John Candy.
Basically, one of the best Thanksgiving movies ever.
One of the best Thanksgiving movies ever.
I'm going to go ahead and say it is the best Thanksgiving movie.
Let's disagree. Let's agree to that. It's just, I don't want to sound like some old fogey, but they just don't make movies like they used to.
No one makes movies like John Hughes did. He makes the greatest movies.
Yeah. Just brilliant. I mean, they've got such heart. And so Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a big Strothman family tradition. Also, it's sort of a newer tradition that started, a decade or so ago. But Strothman family trivia, my family is really kitschy in some ways. Like we really get into being a family. And inventing things that we can do together as a family. And just, about a decade or so ago, we invented Strothman family trivia, that each of us would come up with some trivia questions about our family. So Strothman family trivia is a big tradition. For me, just a general Thanksgiving tradition is, though I'm not a sports fan, the sound of a football game on TV while I take a nap. To this day, I love the sound of a football game, probably because to me, it sounds like a bunch of white noise. I don't get it. I could not be less interested. To everyone else, it's very arousing and it gets their interest. But I love the sound of football or other sporting events on TV. And lastly, the big Strothman family tradition, and they can say what they want, but this is just open up wide for a big slice of truth. Epic Strothman family fights. Oh, honey. Every year, two people, it's either Kristen and Mark or Kristen and Anjani or Anjani and Mark. One of us decides to take offense to something that gets said, and the usually light-hearted, jovial mood is just no longer permitted because one person wants to take something so the wrong way or so to heart. And we have just had huge, epic fights where someone ends up storming away from the table or denouncing,
hysterical.
the family. Yeah. I have to say, probably the best remembered fight in history. So much so that it's probably still a touchy subject, but what do I know? I don't think my family listens to my podcast, so...
Yeah, I don't think mine does either.
Family, if you're listening, I'm going to tell the raspberry chambord story. Oh yeah, you're cringing. Here it comes.
Yeah, I love chambord. What are you talking about?
Well, my sister, Anjani, I think we were having like champagne. Like my family's a big champagne family. And I think we were having champagne with Thanksgiving. And she decided like, oh, this would be so much nicer if we had some chambord. Like, I guess to make like a Kir Royale.
Kir Royale, yeah. You're talking to a bartender.
And she's like, oh, this would be so nice if we had some chambord. And we're all kind of like, oh, yeah, it will be nice. Well, we don't. So anyway, cheers, everyone. And she's kind of like, oh, it would just be really, really nice. Like, it would be really nice if we had some chambord. Never mind, we've got a table full of fixins and cases of champagne kept cold outside in the snow in the winter in Wisconsin, in the fall, whatever. But so still, it would be so nice if we had some chambord. Meanwhile, my mom's company, Susie's Cream Cheesecakes, has a chambord cheesecake. So at the store, at the factory, which is about a mile away, we have cases of chambord. And my sister's like, Dad, could you just drive and we're sitting down to dinner. Yeah, but I just really want...
Go get some chambord?
And I think finally, I forget how the story went. Maybe there's different versions. He was like, God damn it, fine. And he's like, ran and got the chambord, or maybe he didn't run and get the chambord. I forget how it went down. But my dad, who is the most even-tempered man in the world, just blew up at Anjani, who would not shut up about demanding there be a bottle of chambord. It was pretty epic.
Hysterical.
And I still think it's something that my family would rather we do not discuss.
Well, that's one of the perks of having a big family, right?
That's one of the perks of having a big fat vegan radio, because you can talk about this stuff and not care what your family has to say about it.
But if you have a big family, I feel like you're more likely to have big dramatic fights.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I can't
honey.
imagine one at my little table with just me and my parents.
Yeah. You need conflicting personalities all coming together to really get into
Well,
it.
so what are you going to do this Thanksgiving? Do you know yet?
I don't know. I just started a new job, which I hinted at in our last episode. I am one of the many new drag waitresses at the new Lucky Cheng's in Times Square.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, technically just outside of Times Square. Lucky Cheng's is a drag cabaret restaurant that used to be on First Street and First Avenue in the Village for 19 years. Very popular place, very celebrity attended. And for my concerns, they make
I went to many
good.
bachelorette parties there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Romney voting, straight girl bachelorette parties. So far, I've worked.
I didn't go to Romney voting.
No,
bachelorette parties.
no, maybe you didn't, but I have only worked maybe 3 or 4 shifts so far. And I've already had to tolerate discussions of Romney and how, yeah, well, I'm voting for Romney because blah, blah, blah. And I shut them up by like, yeah, well, I voted for Obama because I want to get married and have kids one day.
Yeah,
and they
good for you.
do not say another word about it. And I'm like, now what do you want, the chicken or the fish?
Yeah, don't say, how could they bring that up to a drag queen? How insensitive.
Exactly. Well, I started it, to be honest. I'm like, it's a good day. It's Obama's America. And then one of the
nicely
girls,
done.
Yeah. So there you go.
Just make the table political.
Yeah. Next, I'm going to talk about religion. What? And then I'm going to finish it by saying why you shouldn't eat any of the animals that you're eating.
That are on the menu.
Yeah. But it's definitely not a vegan restaurant. Though I'm proud to say they definitely have a couple of vegan items in the,
That's great.
we're one of those places that we have little starters before the appetizers and then the main course. And in all 3 acts, as we call them, we've got vegan options. But there's a blackout period on the schedule, so we can't ask off between Thanksgiving and New Year's. So
Of course.
I might have to work on Thanksgiving. I might not. If I do, whatever. Thanksgiving's not so sacred to me that I can't work on Thanksgiving. I believe I've done it before at other restaurants, but
I walked in a million times.
yeah, but if I'm not working, last year Laura and I were invited to join our good friend Cynthia King,
Of Cynthia King Vegan Ballet Slippers.
Cynthia King Dance Studio, who hosted a big Thanksgiving at her house down in Brooklyn, and the Michael Herron was there with his hot, wet, naked body, and Rena Deitch was there. Just a lot of really awesome. It was like the who's who. A lot of really cool vegans were there, and oh my god, it was one of those food orgies where I actually forgot to take pictures of what I was eating.
She invites a lot of people over. It's a really big party. It's nice.
Yeah, and then I was so embarrassed. Then she insisted we all sit around and watch the only 2 at the time episodes that I had of Vegan Drag Queen. So who knows, if we do that this year, we'll have a lot more to watch. But yeah, so if I'm not scheduled to work, I definitely am going to be at Cynthia's. And if I can make it to Cynthia's, I would like to make something. I guess in German, the word for grandma is Oma. And we just called her Oma. She was my great grandma, Margaret Strothman, from Germany. And she was a wonderful cook. And she had a recipe for this like German apple cake that my father taught me how to make. And from the first time I ever made it, my dad's like, don't tell her this. I think you made it better than she did. And it should be pretty easy to veganize because it only contains butter and a single egg for the crust. So, I'm filming some new episodes for my cooking show soon, and I would like to feature this as one of the recipes. So I'm going to see if I can't make a couple of vegan German apple cakes with a streusel crumble topping. And if I can, I would like to bring a few of those to Cynthia's. They're always such a hit. So we'll see how well they come out veganized. So yeah, those are my plans, or not plans, if you will, for Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, that sounds great. I've been trying to veganize my mom's pecan pie for quite some time. Hopefully I will perfect it soon.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's fun to veganize those recipes, isn't it? Those family ones.
Yeah.
Well, I guess with that, we should probably lead into our final interview.
Do we have another interview?
Yeah, we have one more.
Oh, right. That sweet girl that, what was her name? Colleen or something.
Colleen,
Patrick
Goudreau.
Oh, right. I think I've heard of her. Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, if we're not out of time, we may as well play that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, I guess.
Okay, so Laura and I are so freaking excited. We interviewed Colleen Patrick Goudreau for you guys just because we love you so much.
The vegan Martha Stewart.
The vegan Martha Stewart.
The one and only.
And this is our Thanksgiving gift to you. Enjoy our interview with Colleen Patrick Goudreau. Okay, so Laura, take it away.
I thought you were going to kick it off.
Okay. You know what?
You said I'm going to kick it off, and then Laura...
You can't get better than that, so I think that was our kickoff. So
we do this all the time. We're terrible.
We are awful.
All right, I'll kick it off.
Okay, so we're getting the hang of it. So, Colleen Patrick Goudreau in person, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Yay!
Thank you. I love you guys.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. Such a thrill.
Very excited. You know, Colleen, we're interviewing people today about their experience as a vegan on Thanksgiving. And we've interviewed 2 people so far. And funny, both of them, your name has come up in both of their interviews with no prompting from us.
Oh, yeah, they both totally independently. It's great.
I want to know.
Well, one is a girl named Lori. She commented. I posted your like Thanksgiving video on my Facebook wall, and this girl Lori, she's a friend of yours on Facebook, Lori Woolard, and she commented on the video. So we're like, hey, she's a new vegan, so we interviewed her. She's been vegan 1 month. And then our friend Jim Allen here in New York, he's the organizer of Veg Out NYC. And he was like, you know, it's like Colleen Patrick Goudreau always says, don't do nothing just because you can't do everything. So yeah, they've really ushered you in for this interview.
Yeah, it's the perfect setup.
That is lovely, but you have changed the name of my video because I did not call it Thanksgiving. I do embrace Thanksgiving. It's still a word. Giving is still a word.
I don't think I called it Thanksgiving on the thing. I was just trying to remember if that's what it was called, but I've heard Thanksgiving somewhere.
No, it's fine. It has been used. I think, in the attempt to reframe Thanksgiving as the compassionate holiday it should be, I think people have been calling it Thanksgiving, but now we've just lost all perspective because we don't remember that the original name is Thanksgiving. Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. You can call it whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we love that video you made, and we it's one of the things that inspired us to do this this Thanksgiving episode. I know that I have found it, especially with my family, it's a challenging holiday for me to just to work out and people get very upset around their food at this time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with some guys yesterday. I was at Harvest Home's Thanksgiving celebration for the turkeys, or toast to the turkeys, and I was talking to a couple it's their first vegan Thanksgiving, and their family's coming over, and it was a really interesting conversation because they decided they would have a turkey to please one of the guys' mother. And so I kind of probed them a bit and, kind of deconstructed it a bit. And it was really interesting because they had this revelation that every other time their parents come over for dinner, they eat vegan and have no problem with it. Then this holiday comes along and people get a little kooky and they get really attached to this one symbol of Thanksgiving. And when we deconstructed it, he was like, this is so interesting. Like, I feel like I need to go back and talk to them and say, what's the difference between this holiday and every other time you come over to our house and you honor our, the way we eat, and you love the food. So what's the difference here? And it was really interesting. People they get a little nutty around these symbols and these traditions that we get attached to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's really challenging for me and my mom. We had a really intense conversation about it this year, and I decided not to go up for Thanksgiving. She basically, what really blew my mind is when I was talking to her about it, she said to me, look, I know you're right. I agree with you morally. I know you're right. I can't do it. It's wild.
One of the things I was also saying in that conversation with these guys, it's kind of how it came up, is when I was vegetarian for a long time and then vegan, and for a long time before my mother kind of came out how she felt about what it was like when she visited me. And she totally projected, and she was going to come out again to visit, and she said something like, when I come out, I want to be able to eat fish, okay? And I don't want you to tell me that I can't because I know you. And I said, what? Hold on. I've never told you can't. I've never said you couldn't eat animals in front of me. But it occurred to me that I had never told her how painful it was. And it was a real revelation, because I think we expect people to get inside our minds. Not that you're doing this, Laura, but I think we expect people to understand how profound it is for us and how painful it is for us when we see people eating animals. Yeah. And so for the first time I said, I don't think you really know. I said, I'll never tell you what to eat in front of me. I mean, outside of my house, obviously inside my house, there's only vegan food, but outside of the house, I've never told you what to eat. And let me just explain what it's like for me when you are eating animals in front of me. And I'll tell you, since then, she's never balked about it. Maybe she balks behind my back. I don't know. But she hasn't balked about it to me. And it changed. She eats, obviously she continues to eat vegan, and she's never ordered another animal in front of me. And I just wonder sometimes if we have told our families, really told them how it feels, really talk from the heart about how painful it is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so Colleen, we're so happy to have you here. It's seriously, I don't think we can gush enough about how excited we are. And I think we were just really sort of hoping to get you to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving and what it means to you in general.
Well, it does mean what I said on that Thanksgiving video, the Thanksgiving video, that that it is about community and family and gratitude. And, that's the basis for this. I mean, it's about the harvest. It's about the abundance of what we have. I mean, that's really where this starts for me, kind of it's not even reframing it, it's reclaiming it.
Yeah.
And this is a holiday where it's about the harvest. I mean, there's a reason it's this time of year. And it's based on the 1621 gathering of the Wampanoag and the Indians and the colonists for the first time after many hardships and many difficult winters where they lost many, many people to famine and to sickness. They got together and they shared their harvest together, and they taught each other different things. And it's so beautiful to think of that, especially considering what we have done to American Indians, and continue to do, especially as we moved west. I mean, it's just terrific. But that's not what I think about. I think about them coming together, and that's really what it is for me. So we really focus on the harvest. I don't crave strawberries in November. I really crave squash, right? I crave potatoes and just the real autumnal vegetables. So ever since we moved to California, we've celebrated Thanksgiving with two very dear friends of ours, John and Randy, and we're celebrating Thanksgiving with them again this year. And it's really funny too, because I was saying yesterday, I swear I eat mashed potatoes only at Thanksgiving, and they're one of my favorite foods, and yet I feel like I can't eat them unless it's Thanksgiving.
That's a pretty good way to keep one's diet in control.
True. It's true. I like though as well throughout the year, so that's the problem. But yeah, so we're going to have a quiet, we've had Thanksgivings where we host it. We often host. There were a few years where I got a little burnt on hosting, and we went out for Thanksgiving dinner, which was just kind of wild to go out to a restaurant for Thanksgiving. Yeah. But it was good. We went to Millennium, so it's always nice. But we're hosting again this year in our new home, and John and we're going to have a very quiet Thanksgiving with our friends.
Oh, that just sounds so beautiful. Colleen, if you could tell us just a bit about, over the years, what your Thanksgiving traditions are, or what they have been over the years, even if there's some traditions that you've carried over from before you were vegan, before you were vegetarian, just, tradition I think is such a argued part of Thanksgiving, that we do things because of tradition. So how have your traditions sort of changed over the years, and what do those look like?
I love that because that tradition is also creating new ones, isn't it? I mean, that's traditional as well. Yeah. So I encourage vegans to not only feel like because we're often taught to feel that we're breaking tradition. Yeah. We're also continuing tradition and by creating new ones. So It often starts with a hike. I really love getting outside, and it's really sweet because John and Randy often go on the hike as well, and we often gather twigs and pine cones and things that become part of the Thanksgiving table. So that's traditional for us. And we do really, everybody pitches in with the food. So it's not just me cooking. Everybody always pitches in and everybody makes something. I usually tend to do the main dish, which is usually some kind of squash, some really beautiful centerpiece. And then we're total geeks. I mean, we do go around and kind of say what we're grateful for. We really have a ritual of doing that, and we do have some kind of prayer. And I often say my prayer for the animals. It's actually called the prayer for humans on behalf of the animals. And then, a tradition that I remember from when I grew up. It's so funny. Is I don't know why, but I remember every year when I was growing up on like TBS or something, they would play King Kong. I don't know. I associate King Kong with Thanksgiving.
Why not?
Why not? So I think I have to bring that. Every year I say that, but no one ever jumps to watch it.
I don't know if that's a story of an animal getting his revenge or if that's sort of another tale of animal oppression, but
it's complicated, isn't it? I think the Peter Jackson one, I think, is the closest to. It's the one that I think has the most compassion for the animal and for the relationship. I mean, it's both. I really think it is the exploitation of the animal, but it's the relationship that the woman has with the ape. Gorilla. What is he? He's huge. He's massive. I mean, is he a gorilla? He's a gorilla, right? He's some kind of massive gorilla.
I think he's a gorilla.
I think he's a gorilla. So I think it's both. And the end. Who doesn't cry at the end of King Kong? I mean, who does?
So touching.
It is touching.
I'm going to confess, I'm going to have to go back and revisit it because I don't know that it's a film I've ever really sat down and watched, all the way through.
Well, you have 3 to watch.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
There's 3 versions. There's the Fay Wray version. There's the Jessica Lange and what's his name, Jeff Bridges version, and then there's the Peter Jackson version.
Yeah,
I love the Fay Wray version, but my mom looked like Fay Wray when she was young, so I feel like my mom's in that movie.
I think I'm most familiar with the Donkey Kong video game version.
A whole new tradition of playing Donkey Kong on Thanksgiving, and Mighty Joe Young was another one they played. So I associate Mighty Joe Young and King Kong. Strange.
Well, so you shared your plans for this year, which they sound really nice, and I guess we're just. I mean, do you have any advice for anyone who's maybe lost on what to do for Thanksgiving?
Well, there's a few things. So, in terms of the food, watch the Thanksgiving video. Go to compassionatecooks.com or 30dayveganchallenge.com, and you can watch the Thanksgiving video because there's a lot there on the food. But I really think it's so much more about the food. And I think that's where people really struggle is with these family dynamics that you were talking about. Yeah. So there's a couple of things. I mean, one of them is you touched on it, is we do have the option not to go. And there may be consequences to that. I'm not saying we should do that or have to do that. We don't have to. But if we feel that it's too painful for us and we don't really feel like it's a reflection of our values and that it would be too hard, we don't have to celebrate with our, with our families. We can celebrate with other families that we create together. So I just think sometimes we need to be given permission that it's okay if we don't do what others expect us to do. The other thing is, like I said, kind of talking to our family, seeing if there's things they can do. I often talk about giving the benefit of the doubt to our family members and friends. So can we sit down with our families? Can we negotiate something? Can we see if they're willing to not have a turkey on the table? If they're not willing to do that, maybe they can keep the turkey itself off the table so we don't have to stare at a dead carcass. I mean, it's so macabre that we're staring at this carcass that's being up, So maybe they could keep it in the kitchen, and then people would have to go and get it themselves. And on the dish, on the table itself, we could have all the beautiful dishes and all the beautiful side dishes. But talk to our parents about ways we can switch out. Can you just please have mashed potatoes that are not like a separate mashed potato for me, but why don't we just use Earth Balance or and plant-based milk for the mashed potatoes, or something like stuffing. I mean, like bread stuffing, not stuffing that goes in the bird, obviously, but a bread stuffing. Just switch out the chicken broth or the turkey, whatever they use, and just use vegetable broth. So there's all these little ways that we can just say, look, let's share this meal together and not make it like us and them, which I think a lot of vegans can feel, especially how fabulous the food is. And we know it's food that non-vegans eat. So there's ways, I think, to make it as a coming together, as opposed to this kind of dichotomous meal where you eat this way and I eat that way. We're all celebrating.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they definitely uphold tradition, and I don't feel like, at least in my family, when we talk about tradition, I don't really think most of us are thinking back, the root of Thanksgiving or where it came from or why we do what we do. I think we're really just talking more about what's familiar to us in our time. And I know in my family, when we talk about Thanksgiving tradition, we're not talking about the Pilgrims or the Native Americans. We're just talking about our dining room and as far back as what we can remember doing as a family. And I think this is such a beautiful opportunity to, as you said, the original Thanksgiving was a celebration of the harvest and different cultures coming together and teaching each other and learning from each other. And maybe this could be a wonderful opportunity to share with our families the real meaning of Thanksgiving and the real, the celebration of the harvest. And Colleen, one of the things that I love, I'm such a fan of your podcast and your videos and just your work in general, but I really love how, before your podcast episode on Thanksgiving, I didn't really understand just how off our sort of verbally recorded history is on Thanksgiving. Could you maybe just tell us some of the discrepancies again, just to reiterate for our listeners? There was some article some woman wrote about the first Thanksgiving, and it's so historically inaccurate.
Well, sure. I mean, I think we have this like Brady Bunch episode mentality when we think of, at least I did when I was growing up, we all kind of think of the Pilgrims in the black hats, and we think of the Indians, and it's just this strange, really offensive stereotype, like a depiction of Thanksgiving. Yeah. So sure. And this is what's so funny, because you're right. This is not what most people are thinking. If you ask people why Thanksgiving is meaningful to them, if it is, I don't think they'll say, because I just love the colonists so much, and I love to celebrate the Wampanoags. I mean, that's just not what they're saying. But what's interesting, as I said, 1621 is when they came together for the first time, but they didn't say in 1622, we loved getting together with you and your families. Can we do that again this year and the next year? I mean, Thanksgiving didn't become a formal holiday in the United States. And obviously I'm talking about the United States Thanksgiving, not the Canadian Thanksgiving. But it didn't become a formal holiday until 1864. One woman is the reason that it became a national holiday. She lobbied president after president after president, year after year after year, for 20 years to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. I just completely forgot her name. She's the writer of Mary Had a Little Lamb. You can Google that right now. Mary Had a Little Lamb. She is the one who wanted there to be a national celebration of coming together. And the problem is, what happened was, she's also the one, she was the editor of a magazine. And so she also was in lobbying the president and the people for this holiday. She was also kind of crafting what this holiday is now. She was putting all of these, recipes in the magazine for this holiday, and things like turkey. I mean, turkey became the symbol of Thanksgiving in the 1800s. One of my points being that people say tradition. The Indians, what do they have? What do they have to eat? Well, that turkey was not on the menu of the first. Of the set. Thank you, Sarah Joseph Hale. Turkey was not on the on the menu of that first. And so one of the things I often talk about is if we are using kind of historical accuracy as our touchstone for tradition, then we're all breaking tradition. If we have mashed potatoes, if we have cranberries that are sweetened with sugar, if we have pumpkin pie, apple pie, because none of these things would have been on that first menu. They didn't have to make pies. They didn't sweeten cranberries with sugar, and they didn't have potatoes. They didn't have a potato crop, in 1621. So we're all breaking tradition. And that's the whole point, is that we kind of pick and choose over time which traditions to uphold. Sarah Josepha Hale decided to start the tradition of having turkeys on Thanksgiving, and we've kind of followed suit, but that's because that was a reflection of her values, where our values are not having turkeys. And so that's just as traditional as having turkeys. So we need to embrace it, and that's what we have to share with our families. Like, well, come on, like how attached are you to this or that? Let's really talk about what this really means. And I think when you reframe it that way and you really understand the history, I think it does kind of give you a little more empowerment, so that you don't feel, not just when you're talking to your family, but when you're talking to just someone, on the street or a coworker, that you're breaking tradition. If we eat with forks on Thanksgiving, we're all breaking tradition.
That's brilliant.
Right? So we're all breaking tradition if that's our touchstone.
Yeah. Wow.
It's great.
What else you got? I'm just kidding. I was talking to some people yesterday, and it made me a little sad. I asked some people, I was at an event, and I asked some people, I said, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And, consciousness can be a real downer, right? Because once you're aware of how much we've done to other peoples and other beings, it could be a real downer to be aware of that. So I said to one very conscious couple, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Yeah, we don't really celebrate it. It's a real celebration of genocide, and we're not really thrilled about it. So we just kind of boycott Thanksgiving. And I go, okay, remind me not to invite you to my Thanksgiving dinner. And people, what are you doing? Yeah, we don't celebrate it. We just really don't like what it's been about. And I kind of went into my spiel. I don't think they expected the history of Thanksgiving at that moment. But I just thought, that's just such a shame, because, it's such a missed opportunity to really celebrate so many things. And hey, fine, use it as an opportunity to make up for whatever evils we've done, but to reject it completely and boycott it completely, I think it's a real shame. And, and that's what we can do too with our families. We can invite them over to experience this reframing, this compassionate framing of this holiday, and say to them, come on, we're talking about one day of not having turkeys. Does it mean that much to you? Is that really that much to you? So, just ask them to stretch their comfort zones, and something we can all do. All of us can stretch our comfort zones. All of us can raise the bar a little bit. All of us can practice a little more tolerance for each other, and all of us can still do that while being true to what we believe in.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
I just have one, and I can edit this out, Colleen, if you don't want to do this, but I just had a quick thought. You mentioned your a prayer for humans on behalf of animals, and I just quickly Googled that, and I think it would be a lovely ending to this interview if maybe for our I keep wanting to say viewers, they're not viewers, our listeners, they are
and
listening.
always says viewer.
I dream big. I just dream big. That's what I do. But I wondered if maybe you would consider taking us out just by reading your prayer for humans on behalf of animals.
Can I tell you a secret?
What's that?
I was hoping you'd ask that.
Oh, yay!
Well, great vegan minds think alike. I even have it ready to copy and paste here in our Skype notes, but I'm sure you've got a copy of it handy.
I do, and I know it by heart, thank goodness. I did it yesterday at this event, and so I would be honored. I would really be honored.
Well, I would love that too. So here it is from Colleen Patrick Goudreau herself, a prayer for humans on behalf of animals.
Thanks, Ben. My hope is that we can navigate through this world with the grace and integrity of those who most need our protection. May we have the sense of humor and the liveliness of the goats. May we have the maternal instincts and protective nature of the hens and the sassiness of the roosters. May we have the gentleness and strength of the cattle, the wisdom, humility, and serenity of the donkeys. May we appreciate the need for community as do the sheep, and choose our companions as carefully as do the rabbits. May we have the faithfulness and commitment to family of the geese, the adaptability and the affability of the ducks. May we have the intelligence, loyalty, and affection of the pigs, and the inquisitiveness, sensitivity, and playfulness of the turkeys. My hope is that we can learn from the animals what we need to become better people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Colleen.
Thank you both so much. You both rock, and I adore you. Thank you for everything you do.
No, we're really thrilled to have you on our first annual Thanksgiving episode. And, yeah, and we'll certainly post a link in the show notes for our listeners where they can check Colleen out as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Colleen. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, guys. I love what you're doing. Next year, it'll be TV. Next year, you'll have viewers.
Who knows? Who knows? The sky is the limit.
Right on. Have a great day.
Thanks so much. You too.
Bye-bye.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much, Colleen. Oh, that was.
Oh yeah, such an honor to have someone we look up to and admire so much on our show. Such a thrill.
That was really breathtaking. It's so full circle for me. Her podcast is one of the biggest influences in my going vegan, and to have her now on our podcast is just, it makes me proud to be an American.
Yeah, it's doesn't make me proud to be an American, but it does make me really excited to be able to get her wonderful take on Thanksgiving and in general, just for our listeners. It's such a treat.
Yeah. A correction. I'm sorry. I must say my Uncle Phil's world's largest ball of twine in Bundy, Minnesota makes me proud to be an American. I sort of misunderstood the assignment. I'm sorry. I think that's just about it for this episode.
That's about it. I am so excited about Thanksgiving and so excited that we were able to discuss it with so many wonderful vegans, and we hope that you guys have a great Thanksgiving too. Before we go, we want to just mention a couple exciting things going on for some of our friends. Our friend Eric Huff over at the Vegan Bodega has got a new project called theveganlist.com, which is super exciting. It's basically like the vegan Yelp. But I never said that for legal reasons. But it's just going to be a database resource for vegan businesses just across the gambit. If you're looking for a vegan nutritionist or vegan photographer or vegan whatever, you can just check it out there. And that way you can just always have an option to give your business to a vegan business provider. And it's also great because I know a lot of times it's like, oh, I'd love to go get acupuncture, but I wish I could, work with someone who's vegan. And then, theveganlist.com, check it out. And then they've got it. So, it's awesome. Just go. And also, especially if you have a vegan business, go get your info on the vegan list, go submit. I'll say right now that I think Ben Strothman should get his vegan photography up on the vegan list.
Newsflash. This just in, it's up, girl.
Oh,
it
snap.
Is up. The site has only been up for not even a month. I mean, I think only a couple of weeks. And so as it's very new, Eric has some really affordable options for advertising. And think about it. You know how we vegans are. We really like to support our own. So definitely get listed on there. It could be a real boost for anyone out there who is vegan and has a business or a service or a trade that they'd like to offer. I have a shout out as well. I would like to give a big fat vegan shout out to Mindy Collette and Derek Treesize. They are two vegan bodybuilders, and Robert Cheek is sort of sponsoring this online vegan event right now where Iron Man magazine has this big, this is not a vegan magazine, it's not a vegan competition, but Iron Man magazine is sponsoring this big spokesmodel search to put a man and woman, two new bodybuilders on the cover of Iron Man magazine, and to make them the new spokespeople for bodybuilding.com. So basically, this is running all through the month of November, and it's not one of those things where you vote once. It's one of those things where you vote every day for one man and one woman. So we're going to post those links in our show notes, and both Ben Strothman and Honey LeBronx will probably be posting them regularly on their Facebook pages. But if you could join our efforts, it would just be such a wonderful thing for a mainstream non-vegan bodybuilding magazine to feature two fully vegan, gorgeous bodybuilders as the cover of the magazine and their current spokespeople. You know, these magazines, I feel like they talk so much about bodybuilding, but veganism is just never mentioned. And I think this would be a really great way to get the word out to a lot of people who might not ever think about veganism otherwise. So you can vote every day. And here's just a little secret. Only one vote per person per day for each man and woman candidate per IP address. This means you can vote once from your computer and once from your iPhone. So be sure to bookmark this on your laptop, your desktop, your iPhone, your work computer, and vote once a day from as many places as you can, because we really want these people to grace the covers of Iron Man magazine. So check out our show notes for those links, and please, please, please share them emphatically on your Facebook and Twitter.
Just go ahead and get your drool on.
Yeah.
There's some nice photographs.
Oh, Derek Treesize is just dreamy. He is as attractive as any man ever needs to be.
Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, no, it's the get your vote on.
Get your vote on. You thought the election season was over, huh?
That's why you're crying? Oh, the election will be over soon, okay?
Okay.
Oh.
We also have one last shout out here for those of you who followed our interview with Donnie Moss in our efforts to ban the horse carriage industry in New York City. You can now stay up to date on this fight by following at Donnie Moss NYC on Twitter. That's Donnie Moss NYC on Twitter. You know, he can just keep you up to date with all the things you can do to help stay informed and help us keep Christine Quinn from becoming our next mayor, which, if that were to happen, it would be a sad day for the horses. Actually, it would be a sad day times 365 times 4 for the horses.
For New Yorkers, too.
For New Yorkers, too. Oh, my God.
Her record is distressing.
Not to mention if she got a second term or gave herself a third term.
Or a third term, yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, whatever. So just, for those of you who are interested in that, it's a great way to stay connected to Donnie and to his work and ways to get involved.
Indeed, indeed.
As always, support our wonderfully talented theme song composer, Michael Herron, and support him at michaelherron.com, as well as our wonderful artist, designer of our logo and characters, Kelly Huffine. Check her out at kelly42fox.deviantart.com. You can also find them both on Facebook. So that's all we've got today for Big Fat Vegan Radio. Subscribe to us through iTunes, give us a rating, and leave us a review.
And be sure to let us know what you thought of this episode on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet or leave us a voicemail. We would love to hear from you.
Oh, and please post your photos of your Thanksgiving feast on our Facebook page. Help spread Thanksgiving joy.
Oh, that's right. Facebook.com/Big Fat Vegan Radio. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Ben.
And everyone have a happy, wonderful, warm, and blessed Thanksgiving. And I guess that's just about it. Oh,
there's one more thing.
Yeah, sorry. Before we forget, you know, if you got, we've already asked you to do so much already, but if you could just do just one more thing, just go vegan! How impressed would you be if I just started freestyle rapping right there?
All right, don't break it down.
I'm going to break it down.
Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. We like tease. Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. We like tease. Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. We like tease. Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Break it down.
Come on, come on. We like tease.
I can't beatbox. That was terrible.
It wasn't too bad.
Oh, thanks.